I'm student meteorologist Jake Taylor alongside Lauren Stuart. And Lauren, today was quite a warm day, wasn't it?
It was. We actually got to around 80 degrees today, which is one of our near record highs, which is pretty impressive for this time of year. It is December now.
Yeah, we just opened up in December and the record high was 81. We're actually sitting around 80 or 81 right now. The official high hasn't quite come out yet, but it will. So we'll see. We might set a new record high, but this is just coming off where we set a record low about a week and a half ago, right?
I know, it's been back and forth, it seems like. It doesn't feel like December right now, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, we saw a new record low of 22 degrees, and then all across the country, the warming trends are coming back. Where instead of snow, we're seeing rain again, especially off in the west. But that's not going to be the trend over the next few weeks. We will see a gradual cool down, more to normal December weather, especially for Florida.
Sounds good. I'm looking forward to a little bit cooler temperatures coming up soon. So.
Yeah, when we say cooler, you know, we're not going to be sitting in the 40s, the mid-50s. We'll probably be sitting in the mid-60s. So a lot more, like I said, what we're used to seeing in December, and then our lows will be sitting in the mid-40s again. But we're going to have more on that in just a minute. But in terms of our precipitation, like I said, not much to talk about, especially today. We've seen a lot of flow from the east. Our moisture's been going up. Haven't seen much precipitation. But we're going to kind of delve a little bit more into that with Melanie. Melanie, what can you tell us?
Thank you, thank you, Jake. Yeah, around the southeast, we're not really seeing much. We're just seeing all this cloud cover just coming into our area. Now, it's bringing with it a lot of moisture, but fortunately, that moisture is not going to be in the form of precipitation. It's only going to be in the form of cloud cover. But taking a look for the rest of the week, we're going to have a dry week ahead, but we have our ACC championship game this weekend up in North Carolina. So if you are making the drive up there, careful because it's going to be a wet one. But next week, it's going to be a dry finals week. We're going to be back into those dry temperatures and cooler conditions. Tonight, we're sitting at 53. It's going to be mostly clear. There is a chance for some patchy fog. So if you're out and about and you're driving around, make sure to have those headlights on and be careful for the fog. For tomorrow, well, what's the temperature going to be? You're going to have to stay tuned to find out. Isn't going to rain? You'll have to stay tuned, and it's going to be another perfect day. The above average temperatures will be continuing to rain throughout the week into the weekend, but now let's take it back to the desk for some more stories.
All right, Melanie, thanks for that look. Things are going to be looking a little, like I said, above average temps, like she said, but let's bring it over to Cape Canaveral, actually. Tomorrow, 7:05 a.m., we're going to see the launch of the Orion space capsule. It's supposed to carry people to Mars, but just a test run for now.
Yeah, it's actually pretty exciting. The conditions should be pretty good around that time of day. We're only looking at about a 10% chance of showers, so hopefully nothing's going to stop the launch from happening.
Yeah, over on that side of Florida with the flow coming out of the east off the Gulf, or off the coast, you have to keep your eyes for scattered showers and things like that, but nothing really should be fantastic weather, especially that time in the morning.
Yeah, hopefully everything will go well. It is just a test run, so maybe, you know, in a few years we'll actually see some people heading to Mars, which would be pretty exciting.
That is the goal. Tomorrow is the test run. We're not, it's not going to be, nobody's going to Mars yet, but, you know, we set foot on the moon, what, 50 some odd years ago, so about time we had another large step for mankind, right?
That is true, so.
All right, so actually, we're going to bring it over to the local, around the Tallahassee. We're going to take a look at things. What can we expect in the next few days? Well, today, things were clear. We didn't see much at all, nothing on the satellite really. Some scattered clouds throughout the day, but nothing in precipitation to really discuss. But around the board, St. Mark's is sitting at 80, but around the board, like I said, mid-70s to upper 80s, and that's going to be the trend, at least for the next few days. Things are being actually above average in temperature. Things are warming up quite a bit. Like I said, 80, 81 was our record high for today. We might even match it as soon as the official comes out. But actually, we see it going down here. So probably, if we didn't hit it, we're not going to hit it today. It's moving down for the nighttime. We're sitting at 74 in the capital city. But looking at the winds, St. Mark's still seeing onshore flow. This is really what's going on around the Big Bend. We see moisture contents going up because we see the moisture coming in from the Gulf. And right now, the predominant flow is actually coming from the east. So this really doesn't tell you the best picture, except by the coastline here. And Quincy has a bit of a eastward tendency right now with their wind direction, but nothing too heavy. But that is going to be what's going on, at least until the next front moves through sometime this weekend. But the moisture starting to really come on in today. We saw it was drier this morning. That's what the orange colors are indicative of. But then the greens are moisture. So we see it moving right in. Going to be bringing our moisture content back up from the northwest. And all around the Big Bend. That's really what's going on. And this is what we had to deal with, this dry air mass finally moving off towards the Atlantic. Miami's sitting, the orange color sitting all over the South Miami. So Miami's pretty dry right now, as dry as we were, but we're going back up in the moisture content. We felt it today. It was pretty warming. It was warming up, like I said. Temperatures reaching the upper 70s all around the board. It's actually pretty unseasonable considering Tallahassee. We're used to seeing temperatures that we will be seeing next week when the next front comes in. But beach forecast, eastward winds, like I just mentioned, 10 to 15 miles per hour, so nothing too heavy. 11 is the UV index, so still sitting at extreme if we're heading to the beach. It is pretty warm here in December in Florida, so beach isn't entirely out of the question. But for tonight, 50s around the board, mid-50s. It's going to be a pretty clear night. Got to keep our eyes up. There's the chance for the occasional shower. Our cloud, we're going to see some pop-up clouds too, but it's going to be a pretty cool night. Nothing too, not too warm. For tomorrow, it's going to be a lot like today. Mid-70s, might be a little bit cooler, but as it says, still above average for December in Tallahassee with our winds east-northeast still coming out of the north like we saw today for that time. But moving over the next week, we're going to have our chances for fog. Just has to do with the moisture content through the next Thursday and Friday, the next couple days. Then the game with Virginia Tech, 20% chance of rain right now, but we'll have a forecast on the game later on. And then moving into next week, things are going to be cooling right back down to the mid-60s to the mid-60s, excuse me, with the mid-40s, possibly lower 40s as our lows. But let's go ahead and take a look at the southeast. Let's broaden it out. 74, what we have right now, but when we advance it, we will see the temperatures cooling down a little bit into the weekend. For right now, they're going to stick around in the mid-70s, like we said, but around the southeast, that's going to be what's going on. Warmer temperatures, and up towards Alabama, they're actually seeing over in Arkansas temperatures going up over the past 24 hours as they recover from a cold front that just passed. So +8 over there in northern Arkansas, New Orleans seeing +4, and then over here looking at Florida, +2 in Miami, +3 in Tallahassee. So it's a little bit more neutral. We've had pretty stable conditions, or pretty constant conditions we've been dealing with over the past few days. But looking at relative humidity, the flow from the shoreline from the Gulf, from the ocean is really bringing our humidity values up. Sitting in Orlando, they're sitting at 60%, Miami 71%, but you see the darker greens are, like I said, they mean the more moisture content we have. So they're darker along the coastline. We're sitting at 62%, and then New Orleans 71%, and Atlanta 63%, and then over in Savannah by the coast 78%. So things are they're more moist than we've been experiencing. As we take another look at this graphic and the drier air mass we had been dealing with, once again moving off towards the south, moving off towards the Atlantic, and we're dealing with the moisture again all over the southeast and all over the Big Bend. But take a look at the satellite and radar. We do see some precipitation over near Little Rock. Cloud cover really the big story with this moving towards our area. Tallahassee is starting to see some clouds pop up. Atlanta starting to see quite a bit of cloud cover. Southeast, that's going to be the story for the next few days as temperatures are, like I said, stay above average, and we continue to deal with this slow-moving cold front, just waiting on it to come drop our temperatures. But on the water, this is not the beach, this is the boating forecast. So still got the east winds 10 knots. Waves are 2 to 3 feet, and we do have a life chop. It's a good fishing day, so if you want to head out there. And then moving on to tonight, mid-50s around the board. Things are going to be warming up. And then for tomorrow, we're going to see Tallahassee at 76 degrees, 80s along most of the Florida Panhandle, 70 in Atlanta, 74 in Savannah. So still another warm one for the next few days. But Lauren, things are, like I said, pretty unseasonable right now considering how warm we've been, right?
Yeah, they really are. It has been extremely warm the past few days. I was just back in Tennessee for the holidays over Thanksgiving. It was much colder than it was here, so I'm not quite used to this.
But yeah, but really quick, while we're talking about the weather, this is something we want to talk about. Actually, FSU, the college playoff ranking just came out. We're down at number 4, and they've been talking about how we've been playing in certain situations. But interesting thing to note, the Boston College game, we actually saw considerable amounts of rain, and then Notre Dame, temperatures were colder than we've been experiencing. Miami, humidity was actually up quite a bit. So interesting to note how weather can really affect certain outcomes of games, right?
Oh yeah, Yeah, it really does. And the weather is definitely something that not only the players have to consider before a game, but the coaches as well, because it definitely affects the plays that you run on the field and, really how you catch the ball for sure.
All right, but on that note, we're going to take a look at the national forecast with Melanie. Melanie?
Thank you. Yeah, we're here in Tallahassee, we're sitting at relatively calm temperatures and not really much happening, but weather-wise around the country, we're actually seeing up to our northwest region in Seattle, they're seeing a winter weather warning, and even in California, the northern and southern parts by San Francisco, they are seeing a flash flood warning. That is just because they have been seeing some real severe weather in our area. Now take a look nationally, we're 74 at Tallahassee, but take a look at that compared to 28 up in Billings. So they are really seeing the cold, but we are seeing those warm temperatures. And here's why. They're having some cloud cover and some rain being pushed off from the Pacific to their area. They're seeing some rain up in Billings and some rain down in San Francisco, and that's just going to be causing their flood warnings. But here in the home city, we really have not much to talk about. There's just some cloud cover that's going to be making its way into our area, and that is just the moist air making its way into our region. And as we move up north, they're getting some pretty decent snow up in Canada. Thankfully, that snow is not affecting our area. And taking a look back at Idaho and Montana, North Dakota, they're seeing a lot of snow. They have a winter weather advisory right now. So they're seeing the real effects of winter. And then moving back to California, we have this rain up in San Francisco in the northern parts of California. So they're having some flash flood warnings right now. So if you have any family in these areas, feel free to give them a call just to make sure they're okay. And of course, with all this extreme weather, they are experiencing airport delays. 69 flights delayed in Vegas and 26 delayed in New York. So if you're traveling, it may not be the best time to travel. Tonight, though, we're going to be sitting at 52 in Dallas. It's going to be 53 here in Tallahassee, 33 in Denver, 40 in Salt Lake. We're really seeing those cool conditions prevail in the region. Tomorrow we're going to be sitting at 76 in Tallahassee, 70 in Atlanta, 43 up in Boston, and it's going to be 47 up in Billings. So we're really seeing this warming trend continue in the south throughout and the southeast, but it's going to be cooling up to the north, so we're really going to see those nice and calm temperatures. But now, Lauren, let's take a look for the local.
Looking at the satellite and radar, you do see a little bit of cloud coverage moving into the area. Fortunately, not too much going on. Have seen warm temperatures, so that has been. Take a look at the big picture. We do see a low pressure system hanging out in the Gulf Coast there, and we have that front that's pushing off to the east away from us. Fortunately, we're going to continue having nice conditions though over the next few days as this pushes away from us. We do have some rain up in the north, up in Tennessee there, but not much for us right now. So for tomorrow's forecast, we're going to have another warm day here in Tallahassee. We're going to be around 76 degrees, which is definitely a bit on the warm side compared to average. After all, this is December, but otherwise it's going to be very nice, mostly clear skies, just a bit on the warm side. Now if we move on to the week ahead, we continue to see those nice conditions in the area with temperatures in the mid to upper 70s. For the football game, we do have a 20% chance of rain, but not too bad. But as we move into next week, we could see cooler temperatures and move in.
Yeah, Lauren, that's really something to talk about there moving into the next week or so. Things are going to be warming up, but then cooling right back down. So we'll get a little bit of relief from, I guess you could call it a heat wave, but not really much of a heat wave, just above average temperatures. But actually, for right now, let's discuss something that a lot of people don't realize. I've been hearing over the past few days from several media stations saying the difference between rain and drizzle. So, there's a difference? There is a difference. It has to do with the size of the drop. So when drizzle is obviously a much smaller droplet you're dealing with, and this it's just obviously you don't have to deal with flooding concerns as heavily, and it's more just that light rain that you see when you're going out. But when you're talking about heavy rain and rain specifically, your drops get much bigger, and so these can lead to obviously more water falling, more flooding concerns, things like that. So really that's the biggest distinction between drizzle and rain.
I didn't even know that, and I'm a meteorology major, so you continue to learn something new every day, I guess.
Oh yeah, it's just a lot of people don't realize this. There's several times you'll hear it throughout on the media that, they're talking about, oh, we might see a little drizzle today, and people think automatically, oh, they're just talking about a short rain or something like that. It actually means a smaller raindrops you're going to be dealing with. So, as we're moving out, we're going to see our rain chances going back up. We might see our drizzle chances go back up, right?
Regardless, we're going to see some rain coming in the area soon. So.
Especially with the fog, we're going to be noticing Thursday and Friday, fog chances are going up. Those are also smaller, basically a cloud sitting at the surface, so it's smaller droplets there too.
Fog droplets are even smaller than drizzle droplets, I'm pretty sure. I've done some projects on fog before, so it's actually pretty interesting stuff.
All right, but for now, let's take a look at Florida. Like I said, we might be seeing our rain chances up over the next few days, but what are we seeing right now? Currently, around the Panhandle, down here in Tallahassee, 74, so that's sticking around for right now. Pensacola's at 64, 10-degree difference over here, but just has to do with the moisture content right now. 64 in Jacksonville. They've seen a little bit more cloud cover today than we have. 63 in Orlando and 67 in Tampa. So around the board, still sitting in the mid 70s to upper 60s and still staying unseasonably warm for the most part, considering we just got into December. I mean, we're December 3rd here, or December 4th. So the easterly flow still coming out. Still showing up right here, 8 miles per hour in Orlando, 8 miles per hour in Jacksonville. So pretty strong winds. Not too strong, but it is still something to notice. So we've got some pretty prevalent winds coming out of the east, and this is bringing moisture from the Atlantic Ocean all the way over to Tampa and Fort Myers, showing the same direction. And then over here, Pensacola's at 5 miles per hour, but also coming from the coastline, also contributing to our moisture content and the warmer temperatures we've been noticing for several days now, especially coming off of Thanksgiving, where we all went home and things cleared up, got cooler, and now we're sitting very warm. It's just been warming nonstop ever since, and that's going to be the case until we get around to the end of the week. But relative humidity sitting at 93% in Jacksonville, so they're still pretty warm, or excuse me, moist, and then 69 in Orlando. Down here at Miami, they're sitting at 61 and 69 in Key West. So moisture content still staying high along the coastline and really around the Florida Panhandle. 62 in Tampa and 90 over there in Pensacola. We just talked about that onshore wind pattern we saw, the onshore flow contributing to that 90% relative humidity, but they've also got some moisture moving in from the northwest that is contributing to that as well. Just give you a little bit better look at it. See the cloud, the plume of clouds just moving off towards the east, bringing up some cloud cover, some moisture content moving in. Nothing really to talk about just yet in terms of precipitation. We do have something popping up over there in the Gulf, but over in Jacksonville, what you're seeing now is actually our radar getting fooled a little bit. It's not precipitation, it's dust in the air, things like that. The satellite or the radar is getting confused. This is not precipitation. So Jacksonville, not seeing much rain right now. Over here, West Palm Beach, we do have some onshore, pop-up showers moving in, and then Miami seeing a little bit of rain too. But like I said, nothing really significant. The bulk of the pop-up showers sitting around Key West in southern Florida. But we'll move over to central Florida, and once again, the spottiness here is just radar getting fooled. Just not precipitation. Same thing over here in Tampa. They might be seeing a pop-up shower or two, but nothing that's really there's not that much precipitation going on in Tampa. And then if we move over towards the capital city again, we're seeing much of the same syndrome. So radar is getting fooled all around Florida, wishing, so used to rain that they're just like, oh, it must be rain. But no, this is not rain. This is just bad returns. We do see a pop-up right there, that little cell right there, bringing some rain, but nothing too significant to report. And that's really what we're going to be noticing in the short term. But for tonight, mid-50s along the north of Florida, 53 in Tallahassee, excuse me. Then over here, 56 Jacksonville and 58 in Pensacola. Down here, mid-60s in central Florida. Miami still staying warm down there, 71 in Miami and then 72 in Key West, 71 West Palm Beach. But for tomorrow, 82 in Tampa, 80 in Orlando, and then 81 West Palm Beach. So 80s around the board from central Florida extending all the way down. And then Jacksonville is going to be sitting at 76. And then Tallahassee be seeing 76 too, so pretty warm all around the board. But okay, enough of talking about the warm stuff. Let's get into the winter weather. So yeah, we're actually moving into a winter weather update. So no more tropical updates for us. Let's talk about what's going on. We do have some snow falling over here in northern Michigan, excuse me, and all the way over to New York. Seeing it as well. Buffalo, they've seen quite a bit. They've seen their fair share of snow over the past month. They don't need any more, but they're seeing a little bit pop up as it moves over the Great Lake. Over into Syracuse, New York, also seeing some extending all the way up to the state. So they're getting some more snow too, and I'm sure they've seen plenty over the past month. Let's talk about the airport delays though, because we do still have an airport delay in Las Vegas. They are seeing some, they have a winter storm warning right now. They are seeing some snowfall there as well. 69 minutes, excuse me, is our delay right now. And then over New York, they're sitting at 26 minutes. So nothing too crazy, not 400-minute delay or canceling flights, but is a bit of a stall as they deal with this weather. And then over here, taking a look at the future for our precipitation, San Francisco seeing some precipitation all the way down to California near Phoenix. And then obviously the snow we just mentioned over there by the Great Lakes, but off the coast of Washington, D.C., some precipitation, but not really affecting the coastline, extending into Thursday in the morning. Phoenix and Arizona still seeing quite a bit of rain, our model's predicting right now. So going to have to keep our eyes on that one. But not too much going on in terms of winter weather, at least for now, but moving in to Thursday and Friday, snow's going to be popping right back up here, extending all the way down really. We'll be seeing their chances for snow sitting in Billings all the way down to Denver. And then over towards the central U.S., models calling for quite a bit of rain from Kansas City all the way down really to Tennessee. We're going to be seeing your chances for rain going right back up. So really that's the big story. Snowfall, we're going to be noticing, like I said, just better highlight of what I just mentioned. We're going to see some snowfall chances going back up for the Salt Lake City, extending all the way to Billings really. Montana just all the way down, going to see their snowfall chances going back up. And then over towards, well, the Canadian provinces seeing a little bit too, but that's really the big indicator right now that we're going to be keeping our eyes on. But currently, taking it back, because not much to mention right now for winter weather. That will come later, I'm sure. But 64 in Tallahassee, 68 Panama City, and then 74, excuse me, in Tallahassee, 71 Valdosta. So around the board, still staying warmer, lower 70s to mid 70s is what we got right now. And then for our future cast temperatures, things should be going to be staying pretty warm throughout the next day or so into Thursday morning. And then moving on towards Friday, things will be staying warm, and then we're going to see a bit of a cooling trend going as temperatures drop. Instead of the mid-50s, we'll see them sitting in the mid-40s. But whew, Lauren, that's quite a bit to talk about, right? So
I know. I'm impressed. You just talked for about 6 minutes about the weather.
Quite a record for me. But talking about the winter weather, believe it or not, we're not out of the woods. Well, the Pacific, Western Pacific's not out of the woods with tropical weather. Actually, Super Typhoon Hagapit is rapidly intensifying. We've seen 35-mile-per-hour increase in strength to a 150-mile-per-hour storm in just 6 hours.
That is definitely impressive, but unfortunate news for the Philippines. They could get hit and suffer some massive damage, and they were only hit about a year ago when Typhoon Haiyan came through and caused major damage.
Yeah, we've got to keep our eye on this one because it could steer north early or, and just in time, and it'll save the Philippines from quite a bit of damage. But if it doesn't steer north in time, depending on how fast this pressure system moves, Philippines could take another direct hit from a very formidable storm. So that's unfortunate news for them. We're getting out of, we've had a pretty quiet season compared to them. They've had several very powerful storms.
We really have. The Atlantic has been quiet this season, which is a bit boring for a meteorology major, but good news for everyone else. And unfortunately, over in the Western Pacific, it has been much busier, although it usually is. I know that basin typically has quite a few more storms than here in the Atlantic.
All right, well, that's enough for our special cases of weather. Melanie, let's take another look at the local and wrap things up.
Thank you. Yeah, we're just going to tie it right back home right here. We're going to jump right back into those weather headlines again. We're going to have a dry rest of the week, and we're going to have a dry finals week next week. But this weekend for the ACC Championship, there are going to be those wet conditions in play, and that's up in North Carolina. But bringing it more back home, we're sitting at 74 here in Tallahassee. The clouds are really starting to make their way in, and the clouds are going to be making their way in for the rest of the weekend. But taking a look around the Big Bend, we're sitting at 72 in Bainbridge, 68 in Wilma, 65 in Carabel. So we're seeing the high 60s and even the high 70s, which is very unseasonable for this time of the year. We're used to seeing those cooler temperatures, but thankfully the reason why we're not seeing those cooler temperatures is because all that sun, we're seeing all this sun showed by our radar. The clouds are just really starting to move in around 6 o'clock right now into our area, and the clouds are going to be sticking around for the rest of the day, and that's why we're going to have some patchy fog tomorrow, so just be careful of that. But if you want to go to the beach tomorrow, if you have the time to get away from your classes, it's going to be a relatively nice beach day. Surf is 2 to 3 feet, some mild wind, but the UV index is extreme at 11. So if you do go, just make sure to have those hats, those glasses, those sunscreen. Just protect yourself from the sun. And it's going to be a similar story for out on the water. It's going to be a light chop, a good fishing day. If you enjoy to go fishing, then tomorrow is certainly a good day. Get a break from finals, just go out and go fishing. Tonight we're going to be seeing another cool and mild night though. We're going to be seeing 53 in Tallahassee, 54 in Quincy, 51 in Bainbridge. The clouds are going to be making their way out for now, but they are going to be back tomorrow morning because of that fog. But for tomorrow, we're going to be sitting at 76 in Tallahassee, 77 in St. Mark's, 74 in Carabel. We're really seeing those high 70 temperatures, those high 70s, and these are above average temperatures. We are not used to seeing these temperatures at this time of the year. We're used to being in the 60s, but thankfully the 60s will be returning as we reach into next week. But if you want to plan your day, tomorrow be careful driving out because you are going to have that patchy fog, but the temperatures are going to be picking up throughout the day as we reach our high. But taking a look at our weekend, again, there's that fog I mentioned. And then there's a rain chance for Saturday against our football game against Virginia Tech. It is an away game, but get out and support your Noles. But as we reach into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, those cooler temperatures are coming back. We're seeing those seasonable temperatures of the 60s and the 40-degree temperatures. I'm looking forward to those temperatures. What about you guys?
Yeah, Melanie, I mean, we're so used to seeing Virginia Tech at these big games, right? But it's actually Georgia Tech this year. So Georgia Tech's had a fantastic season. We'll be taking on the Seminoles Saturday, 8 p.m., Charlotte, North Carolina at 8 p.m. So
yeah, it's definitely going to be a tough game. I believe Georgia Tech is ranked number 11 right now, I want to say. But regardless, it's going to be tough for us, but I have no doubt the Seminoles are going to pull it out once again. So.
Let's talk about the weather. It actually looks, we might see some rain at this game. So right now we're calling for 50% chance of rain. So we just mentioned earlier that they're going to have to keep their eyes on that. But back to the local, once again, things staying warm throughout the week. So that cold front passes this weekend, and then Monday we're finally getting a little bit of a relief, things cooling down to more what we'd expect around Tallahassee in December. With the temperature sitting in the mid-40s to almost 40, almost hitting 40 on Wednesday. So things are going to be cooling down quite a bit. 20% chance of rain here, but like us anytime, facebook.com/FSU Weather. Follow us on Twitter, or watch us anytime on livestream.com/FSU Weather. We'd love to have any images you want to send us of going to the ACC championship game. We'd love to have them. We'll use them right here on the show. So
yeah. So have a good night, everyone. I'm student meteorologist Lauren Stuart,
and I'm student meteorologist Jake Taylor. Be sure to keep in tune as we follow the weather through the next couple of days.